Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sid Meier Civilization 7. We are playing as Ada Lovelace, leading the Maya. I don't know what more to say, really. We haven't gotten around too much. We did see Egypt. I keep thinking it's Rome because of the colors, but that's actually because Augustus Caesar is leading them. So, we have met Egypt. We've met a couple of independent powers. Not too much to say beyond that. We did settle a second city, and beyond that, really, we're just trying to get a head start on various different texts and cultural policies. So, I do want to apologize for the short gap in episodes. I was going to release an earlier episode because I was like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. It would make up for when I was sick. But I just had so much to do in terms of schoolwork. We're approaching finals. And I just wanted to make clear, even though I love my YouTube channel and I love working on it, I have priorities. And you gotta prioritize certain things, right? If you have like a kid, for instance, you gotta prioritize the kid above even some of the most important things in your life. I don't have a kid, but if I did, I would try to prioritize them. You never know. Maybe that kid sucks. Maybe it's a defective child. That sounds terrible. Jesus Christ. I was making a joke, but like, that is how certain people will speak about their children, and that's terrible. Like, people are people. Kids are kids. You make a lot of mistakes when you're a kid. If your parents holding those mistakes you make as a kid against you throughout your life, that's not good. And if you have the space, probably best to speak to your parents about like, hey, oh, I really need greater support from you, and you're not providing that. But I recognize not everyone gets that space, right? Some of us don't come from the most secure or stable households. For a bit of context about me, right? I had a pretty safe upbringing, right? My parents did love me. They weren't necessarily the greatest parents, but they were my parents, and I love them. I'm not going to discuss the whole family gossip. There are like certain issues in my family where like I have thought, oh, maybe my parents are putting something as a higher priority than me, which sucks when you're a kid, right? Right now, I don't believe that's necessarily the case. I believe my parents are just simply doing what is overall the best they can do at each moment. And they make a lot of mistakes. So you also have to be patient with your parents. That does not necessarily give them the excuse to be shitty parents, but that is also just like, that's the nature of humanity. This is a very intense subject. Why am I discussing this? Because Ada Lovelace's parents. You tied this together. You thought I was just going on a tangent here. No. Ada Lovelace's parent was Lord Byron. And I believe I mentioned this in the past episode, Lord Byron's not exactly the greatest parent. He was kind of a philanderer. And I don't want to say he was like an evil figure. I don't necessarily think that's true, but he was a very much flawed figure. Lord Byron, I believe, actually fought for Greek independence, which I'm sure in some area earns him a lot of respect. So I don't want to say too much negative about the guy. But yes, he was a serial philanderer, and he was very well known about it. To the point where it's a common trait of Byronic heroes that Byronic heroes are also named after Lord Byron, of course. There's a lot to this guy. It's really weird. He's not even the most notable historical well, figure or writer, really looking back, but by God, he inspired so many others to write about yeah, what if this guy, who's like a hero, was kind of shit? Which, I think that says a lot about him. But, Ada Lovelace, of course, went into computer sciences, and I did previously say, oh, she was kind of kind of bionic in her own ways. I should clarify, I don't know exactly the extent to that, but she was an interesting figure in her own right. But hey, she is, of course, one of the mothers of computer science. I need to stop fiddling with that soda can while I'm talking. You might be able to hear that in the background, hopefully you don't. We did meet Moria, led by Lakshmi Bai. I love Lakshmi Bai, by the way. Her design in Civ 7 is great, and honestly, this is gonna sound real weeby of me. I know her from Fake Grand Order, and she's one of my favorite servants in Fake Grand Order. She's one of the few Indian servants that actually gets an Indian, like, skin tone. Right, we didn't get it with Captain Nemo. We didn't get it with, we didn't get it with Karna for some ungodly reason. We did get it with Duryodhana, Bhima, and, Arjuna. But it's so rare we get servants who actually look like they're from India despite being Indian. And they've been making trends towards that, luckily. But yes, I'm a huge nerd about Fate lore, and you'll probably know this if you look at, like, my Tumblr page. I think I described myself, or no, I think it was on my Blue Sky page that I was like Nasu verse enthusiast or Fate lore enthusiast, something like that. Yeah, I have so much I could discuss, and that's part of my, like, sort of overarching interest in history. I do care about history, of course, but I love historical fiction as well. And that's a big thing about Civilization, one of my interests in it, as well as, of course, Fate Grand Order and the overarching Fate series. I don't really care for Fate Grand Order that much anymore. Fate Strange Fake is out, and they've got Richard the Lionheart in it as a main character. I love that they got fucking Alexandre Dumas Pere. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correct, but that's great. They have Gilgamesh and Enkidu. Oh, that's so good. So fucking good. I gotta watch it. I haven't paid my Crunchyroll subscription in a long time. I'm getting distracted. We're running into more city-states, of course. But overall, there's not too much. I'm gonna be cautious about, like, oh, we gotta befriend some of these city-states before Lakshmi Bai does, because if she incorporates some of them, she gets those units. And that could be scary. Especially with how close she is relative to us. She is just a couple tiles to the south east. I had to remember for a sec. I had to think about never eating soggy waffles, which is key to remembering the cardinal directions. But oh, there was something I actually want to discuss in terms of the game, right? I actually made some mistakes with the setup here. And I didn't realize this at the time I was recording, so you will see me sort of struggle a bit early on. I put on the wrong game speed. Normally I play on Epic, which is a bit slower, but with a longer error time, it bounces out a lot better. I am playing on standard game speed, but with the same long era time. That's not great. I am playing on a higher difficulty. I think it's actually on the difficulty I normally get victories with. I didn't end up playing the highest difficulty because I haven't gotten a victory with that yet. Just because I haven't played that many games. But I do enjoy Civ 7. I actually played one of my first games back to the game when I returned was as Lovelace. And I got... What level did I get? I didn't get a level. Well, I actually... That's why there's a little bit of experience there. I was playing Lovelace on a plane. And so it wasn't connected to the 2K account that you need to get like those mementos and levels and such. Which is shit. I did win the game, but I did not get that much experience for it. And I tried like reloading, seeing if I would get those achievements and such that give you the experience. I did not. But yeah, ultimately, it is what it is. Regardless, we are going to try and get some of these. I don't recall what I'm aiming for. Well, I don't think you've actually completed the ancient era as of recording this. I know some of the decisions I make later on. Of course, Rome incorporates Gungnai of Goguryeo. I remember that because of the Civilization 5 mod. It's actually one of my favorite Korean mods. One of, not my favorite. Right, my favorite is actually Goryeo, which is a different civ entirely for those who are unaware of Korean history. Anyways, I am going to make a quick cut, but let me just say, there are some mistakes I'm making in this game. Hopefully I won't make them continuously. I'm gonna try and run this as far as I can. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to end up getting the victory. Like, it's gonna be a rough path. I can win, there's just no guarantee. I want to be clear about that. Even though it's an A to Z series, it's about playing through a game of each. But it's not necessarily I'm guaranteeing a victory for each. If I do fail, I will try to do a redux later on. Right? Which is maybe like A to Z2. I don't know. We'll see what I do. Because another option I've been thinking about is just, this is sort of like the main playthrough of Civ 7. But for future videos, you know, there might be expansion packs coming out. I'm going to want to return to certain leaders. I think I've been thinking about doing like every so often a stream of Civ 7. But I'm not sure how I want to do it. It's tricky. Now, I've got some questions for you guys, right? This is sort of my way of engaging the viewers. For those watching the Great Game, which leader from the Great Game would you want in Civilization 7? Please be sure to leave an answer in the comment section below. I want to know, because I think it's just sort of a fun question. The Great Game, for those who are not aware, is my Civilization 5 series about a world-wide two-star location game where only the computer plays and we just watch. And tell sort of a narrative as we go along, right? But I love that series, and I'm bringing this up because we are going to be continuing it in March, which is tomorrow, actually, as I'm recording this. I'm recording this on the 28th, which is not great. I should have recorded this a bit earlier, but I kind of procrastinated. I gotta be honest. I edited the video itself, like, days before I started recording the audio. But then I was like, I don't really feel like recording the audio, you know? And then I was like, now I feel like I have to do it. And that's not the greatest mindset to go into this for, right? YouTube's supposed to be fun. Looks like we do not get a wonder that is built, but hey. Oh yeah, there are certain. You will see a couple of times. I will start trying to build a wonder and fail. In the end, I'm not going to reveal which wonders because I think I do get some. But there are wonders I try to build and I fail at building them. That is part of because, again, I thought I was on a longer game speed than I actually was. And I was like, oh, I have more time. I have only a short amount of time to build these wonders. Here's what the other players will have a longer time. Speaking of wonders, we do build the Great Stele. I don't know much about that wonder. I gotta be honest. I think that's the Axumite wonder. And I know a bit about Axum. I don't know about the Great Stele. There's a lot of like stelae, I think that's the plural, around the world that are very important. I think that's sort of how we know a lot about like ancient Turkic scriptures from like I believe the Orkhon scriptures, which were ancient Mongolian text on a stela. But I'm getting distracted. We are currently being a little buddy-buddy with these other civilizations. And I want to guarantee you, there will be a time when we will not be so buddy-buddy with them. I think eventually I do try to ally with Augustus Caesar. But we shall see. I'm not going to spoil everything, right? We do have our unique infrastructure, as I'm calling it, right? The unique buildings and the unique, what's it called? Not districts, they changed it. It's unique. I forgot. I forgot. School emoji. Fuck that. I hate when I forget. You know, and when it's like right off the tip of your tongue, that's the worst. Right, but I do want to thank everyone for continuing to support my YouTube content and this series. I have been watching like a lot of the stats recently. I do know my viewership is down on certain videos, and I'm trying to figure that out. Right? But my watch time hasn't changed, so I'm just figuring, oh, you know, the consistent viewers are there. It's just I haven't been getting as much like outreach as I could be. Not that great for a small developing YouTube channel, right? There's a lot of parts where I'm just like trying to figure out how I'm gonna work this. And that's frustrating. But I think I can do it. I think I can do it, right? There's no guarantee I can. But we shall see. We shall see. Now, we have roughly 5 minutes left in this episode. So I'm gonna start wrapping things up, right? We have worked hard on building our little empire here as Ada Lovelace. I love Ada Lovelace's colors. The sort of off pink and a salmony color and white. I think that's nice. Regardless, what I'm trying to say. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode. If you want to support this channel, as usual, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. This is what sort of boosts my outreach to newer viewers and such. And for what it's worth, I've noticed generally things are going pretty well for this channel. Right? We're back to sort of like more active content. And when the Great Game returns in March, we'll have probably a lot more regular viewers coming back because the Great Game is very popular among certain people. But I've just generally noticed, hey, things have been going pretty well. And I'm happy about that, right? This is sort of like a project I'm working on. And I like that. I like being kept busy. And even though I'm working on classes, hopefully I'll be less busy next term. I got 2 of the classes I wanted, which this time I had to take some classes for certain prerequisites. Next term, I have a more open schedule, and the classes I took are really exciting for me. One of them is actually a game design course. Hopefully, if I learn enough about like how to code and such, maybe I'll make my own game someday. You never know. That'd be fun. You know how you sometimes accidentally press a key on your keyboard? I accidentally muted my audio when I recorded 3 minutes of audio. So, I'm terribly sorry about that. I muted myself, and I'm kind of frustrated. So this is going to be what we're talking about now. Right? We are going to get bronze working 1 or 2. I don't recall which one this is right now. Which will allow us to upgrade our unique unit into tier 2 of the unique unit, which will be good, right? That's gonna be good. They're gonna get a lot stronger. Okay, not a lot, but when I'm dealing with like this fucking galley that comes and trying to fuck our shit up, you know, it's gonna be a little useful. I'm getting distracted, right? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I fucking hate that I keep recording audio and I'm like, oh, no. Oh, that was a good take, right? And then I check back and I'm like, wait, there's no audio here. And that's because I had the mute button on my microphone on. I hate when I do that. It is the worst. But it happens, right? I do like having a mute button on my headset, because it's very convenient, especially when I'm like on Discord and I'm like, oh, I need to step away, click the mute button, step out real quick, step back in, mute button off. But it also gets annoying at times. There have been times I'm in Discord trying to talk to people and I'm like, wait a minute, they can't hear me. They haven't interacted with anything I said. It especially happens during games like Dungeons and Dragons that I do on Discord. Because I'm an idiot. I forget that I have my mute button on. Regardless, there were some things I said during that little previous recording that you guys won't hear. It's just sad, because I don't recall what they were, but it was good audio. I think one of the main things I was just asking was, what sort of audio, or what sort of content do you like to hear me speak about the most? I know a lot of people just like having the background noise, and that's perfectly fine. But if there's anything specific you want me to talk about, please be sure to leave that in the comments as well as your favorite great game leader from the great game that you'd want to see in Sid Meier Civilization 7. With all of that out of the way, my name is Kazia. I'm saying the outro again, even though I did it a bit earlier. But yeah, my name is Kazia. So wonderful to have had you joining us for today. I hope to see you again next week. This is Kazia signing off. Bye-bye!